Hey, come here. You want to see something cool? Yeah, that was about 2.5 seconds for 9,000 damage. Through the combination of Frost and Bleed, what you're seeing are basically outrageously strong bursts of damage that work really well in PvE, because you can see I'm able to get all of these hits so consistently on so many different targets and get those big procs. And I'm able to repeatedly do it so fast that I am just chugging through boss bars in stupidly fast times. But it also works in PvP. Take this proc that I got in this guy. We got the Frost proc on him, now he's taking more damage. Then we get the Bleed proc with the jump attack. 1,600 plus in PvP. That's a lot of damage. So, my name is Holo, welcome back to RageGamingVideos, and today, let's talk about a new build. What do we call it? Something really cringe and edgy? Yeah, the Frozen Blood build. Now, that's cringe. Alright, let's get into it then. What is happening? What's actually happening? Basically, what we're doing is we're proccing an ice debuff on the target. Now, there is a great Ash of War that's going to help us do that. As you can see, my weapon is all frosty right now. It's going to proc that freeze even faster. That comes from the Chilling Mist Ash of War, and we've got it on the Twinned Knight Swords, which are actually Twinblades. These currently have 127 frost buildup. The rule of thumb for a status, whether you're bleed build or whatever, is try to reach about 100, and any higher than that is kind of ridiculous. And when I actually buff up, I've got even more frost buildup on top of the 127. So we're able to get that frost proc basically instantly. What happens when you get the proc is it does damage like a bleed proc, but obviously not quite as much. And now that target is afflicted by the frozen status, let's say. That frozen status has quite a few effects. It actually causes their stamina regen to be slower, which is very nice in PvP. But more importantly, it means they take more damage. So our goal is to get that debuff on them, and then we're not too worried about frost from there. Now they are debuffed, we want to proc bleed for huge bursts of damage as much as possible while they're frozen. And that's what we're doing. We're just absolutely reaming these health bars upon getting them frozen and then bleeding to get that extra damage. Now, the reason we're using these twin blades is because twin blades in power stance are actually really cool. A lot of people were talking to me about this when I was talking about them in my Dex video. Our 3 L1 combo in power stance is going to be 6 attacks, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What if instead of taking all that time to get 6 attacks, I do one of these jumps and then I press L1 and I've just done 6 attacks? There's sort of an upper attack and then an underneath attack and then the swing itself. Now, obviously in PvE, where you can consistently just jump attack bosses really easily, that is a lot of hits. Therefore, that's a lot of frost buildup. That's a lot of bleed buildup. That's a lot of procs. That's a lot of damage. Because we're attacking so much with these jump attacks, we're getting a bleed proc essentially every jump. Now, anyone who's ever seen a bleed build knows what I'm about to say. We've got the White Mask on, which increases your attack power whenever there's a bleed proc, right? And then we have the Lord of Blood's Exultation Talisman. This does the same thing. Attack power after a bleed proc. What's pretty cool is if you combine this with the Ash of War, seppuku, I have that proc. So as you can see, the icon is actually there on my bars, the talisman icon, and therefore White Mask is also procced. So I've got that increased attack power just by using that. I'm also getting much faster blood proc. So by default with these twin blades that are in bleed using this Ash of War, we have a blood loss buildup of 134. And with seppuku, the bleed buildup is even faster. So we've got our bleed effect, increasing our attack power by a significant amount. We've got our freeze effect, increasing our frost status and attack power even more. And then we consider the fact that we're doing a jump attack, right? We can make those stronger in this game. This talisman, the Claw Talisman, does what it says. Enhances your jump attacks, making them even stronger. This chest piece, the Raptor's Black Feathers, well, they strengthen your jump attacks, making them even stronger. So our jump attacks are even stronger. Those hits are getting your frost build up instantly, your bleed build up instantly. You're proccing extra powerful bleed hits because of that. And yeah, all the physical damage because you're hitting the target a lot of times. We can make it even stronger using Millicent's Prosthesis Talisman and the Rotted Winged Sword Insignia boost our attack power every single time we land the following blow. So it's just ramping up your AR, and that's how we're getting these ridiculous numbers as I do the jump attacks multiple times. You see, the first one does great damage, but the second one does outrageous damage. Any follow-ups immediately after that, it's just ridiculous. So we're getting full value out of our 2 weapons. We're getting full value out of our helmet and our talisman here. We're getting full value out of the chest piece and this talisman. And of course, we're getting ridiculous value out of these 2 talismans. In PvP, naturally, jump attacks are a bit unreliable. Sometimes you can get that jumping trade with someone, and this is incredible in that scenario. But in PvP, you usually get 1 or 2 hits in a trade, and that's it. How we're really playing this in PvP is we're trying to get them frozen, and we can do that in a few ways. You know that frost attack of the actual chilling mist Ash of War? Well, yeah, it's actually an attack. The mist you generate does damage, which can even interrupt them, and that's going to do a lot of frost buildup. People don't seem to acknowledge that it's like a dangerous thing to walk in, and they just seem to walk in it. It's funny. Once we've got that frost debuff on them, we can kind of go ham on them. What's wonderful about the Twin Knight Swords then is the fact that they have one of the better running attacks for roll catches or even trading. If you can trade by doing a jump attack, obviously you've got to clean someone's health out, and because these Twinblades are in power stance, I would say they have impressive range. It surprised me how much I was able to outrange, say, your curved swords or whatever, even katanas, catching people out in those small distances where we've missed each other, and then I get the follow-up attacks. If you're able to equal trade with these weapons, then you are going to win thanks to the many hits, the ramping attack power, and of course the building status. Josh is really happy to see this working though, let me tell you. We've been having a back and forth for a while now about how I believe you should really focus one single type of damage, and that's going to be the best damage and the best result. And he's been very much, we can make frost work, let's split the damage but get more from it. And while there's a conversation to be had about like what is technically better, this is very powerful, very effective, especially in PvE, and it's also very fun. So full props to Josh for this build. The reason we're trying it is thanks to Josh, so full credit to him. So that's the build. Let me quick fire tell you how to get everything you need. Starting with the weapons, we're here at the East Windmill Pasture, which is just northwest of the Windmill Village in the Altus Plateau region, kind of to the northeast. It's just a single windmill, and right in front of that windmill is a pile of burning bodies and 2 item drops. One of those bodies has armor on it, one of them has the weapon we're after. Now, if you want to get 2 of the weapons for this build, you will need a friend to go pick this up and drop it for you, or go into New Game Plus and get a second one. Now we'll need your 2 Ashes of War. We're here at the Carrier Manor to get your first one, the Chilling Mist. Inside these ruins right here is where you're going to find a beetle that you need to kill. This is just behind the Boss Grace or Boss Room, the Royal Moon Gazing Grounds. We head out from there and immediately mount up and take a quick left. And the very first ruins that we're going to come across right in front of us, inside of here, is going to be a beetle. And that beetle drops the Chilling Mist Ash of War. Next we have seppuku, which is here in the mountaintops of the Giants in the northeastern area. This is the frozen lake. The nearest Grace is literally the freezing Lake Grace. And just to the east of that, where I'm standing, are these roots that are coming out of the ground, these trees. And running around that in a circle is a invisible scarab that leads a sort of blue or white trail behind it. I recommend coming up to this root right here, and as it's walking into you, deal some damage, do an AoE, kill it in some way, and then you'll get seppuku. To get yourself the White Mask, you're going to need to come here to the Mogwin Palace. The downside of this headpiece is bloody everyone's wearing it in their bleed builds, but also it's an awkward one to get. If you have killed the area boss of the Mogwin Palace up here, if you've done that, you can no longer get the invasion required to get the mask, so you've kind of messed up. To get the invasion though and the White Mask, you need to come from the Palace approach, Ledge Road Grace, and go down and around. We go through here, and just as we're in this area, the Blood Swamp area, you're going to be invaded. Once again, you need to have not defeated the boss for this to happen, unfortunately, but basically where that bird is ahead of me, just down there, you will be invaded, you kill the invader, and it drops the White Mask. We can get to this area by going to the portal at the west side of the consecrated snowfield or the mountaintops of the Giants region. There is a bloody portal there, or you can follow the Vari quest line, and he will eventually give you an item that lets you teleport here. For the Raptor's Black Feathers chest piece, then you're going to want to come to the Sage's Cave right here in the Altus Plateau region. You just walk through the lake from the Grace here, the abandoned coffin. From the Grace itself, we're going to run down here, and there's going to be an invisible wall you'll need to hit, and there's going to be a few of those in this cave. Basically, what we have to do is run to the chest that has the chest piece in it, which is behind an illusionary wall. Once again, breaking the illusionary walls that are in our way. There's going to be a load of chests for you to loot in this place. We're just going to absolutely run through here, so just follow my path. Once you reach the waterfall, we're going to take a left and jump over here. And then just in our left here, there's another illusion wall to break through. And that's it. Inside this chest right here is going to be your chest piece. To get the Lord of Blood's Exultation Talisman, which is going to increase your attack power when you get these bleed procs, very important, you need to come to the Lindell Catacombs, which is under Lindell. You can do this after the change in the city, but you need to have been down at least in the underground roadside area, the sewer area, and unlock that grace before then. Now, it's very simple. You just need to go down into the catacombs and go defeat the boss, and it will drop the talisman. But the route to the catacombs themselves is kind of annoying. So from the first grace in this area, the underground roadside, you're going to take a left and follow this path. Not too bad when you know where you're going, but you can easily go the wrong way. The Claw Talisman is a pretty straightforward one. It's actually in Stormville Castle, but well hidden. If you go to the Rampart Tower, Grace, and then head outside, we're going to have a jump that we need to make off the side here. Basically down to this rooftop ahead of me. So let's make this jump. There we go. And then just follow this path. When you get up to this area with the ladder, absolutely kill the 4 guys waiting here. They're going to shoot you, going to throw pots at you. You're going to fall off the ladder before you can get up there. But up top, at the top of that ladder, is just on this body, the talisman. Not too bad. Lastly, for the all-important Millicent's Prosthesis and the Rotten Winged Sword Insignia, these are both incredible talismans from many builds, especially the Prosthesis, because it also raises your dexterity when you're wearing it by 5, which is very nice to have. These come from the same quest line with Millicent here, and this is actually beginning at the Church of the Plague in Caelid and East Caelid. It involves 2 characters, Millicent herself, and then also Gowry in Gowry's shack down there. Now, this is a long multi-step quest, but obviously well worth doing, and it all ends at the Halig tree, which is where you'll need to be at the end of it. I'd recommend you watch a full guide to this and follow it carefully, because it's something you do not want to mess up. But ultimately, the quest ends with a choice. Are you going to help Millicent, or are you going to kill her and invade her? Depending on your choice, you'll either get one of these 2 talismans. The insignia comes from helping her, whereas the prosthesis comes from betraying her. In a previous patch, you could get both in one playthrough. That is no longer the case. They patched it. So you must make a choice and then run it again in New Game Plus, or have a friend drop you the other talisman. But that is the build and guide to getting that build. I hope this was useful or interesting to you. It's nice to see that, yes, Frost and Bleed do work in unison, but I still wonder, should they buff Frost? Do you think in the DLC they're going to give us more Frost options in general? There are so few actual Frost weapons, so few Ashes of War tied to Frost. If you have enjoyed the video though, please drop a like so we can keep making more videos like this in the future. But for now, I've been Hollow, you've been you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.